Hey y'all, let's look at decimal numbers today very quickly. If you were to type this, in fact, you could do this if you want to. Just go 425 minus 125 in a calculator, you get 300, right? If you did it yourself, you did the same thing. If you did this yourself as well on a piece of paper, you'd go, oh, 4.25 minus 1.25, okay, that's going to be 0, 0, and that'll be 3. I got it. Now, if you were to type that into a calculator, 4.25 minus 1.25, it would say 3. It wouldn't have any decimal at the very end. Calculators just lop off the unneeded numbers after a decimal that it doesn't need. And we'll show a couple more of these in a second here. Let's look at this. 0.25 by 0.04. Let's go ahead and do that. First off, you know what? Pause it and grab a calculator or a phone with a calculator. When you finish, come back. Okay, you got your calculator? Don't do it yet. Don't mess with the calculator yet. You do this yourself on a piece of paper. So go ahead and pause it and do that. Okay, if you did this, it'd be something like this. 0.25 times 0.04. And again, I remind you, on these types, you can just ignore all these. You know what? Let's just do this way. Here we go. That's going to be 100 right there. So that's 4 is done. 25 times 0. Boom, boom, and then here we go. And I got 0, and 0, 0.4, and 0, and a 1. Okay, you might go, oh, that's 100. Well, I'm going to need 4 numbers behind that decimal point, right? So if I put a decimal point there, there's only 3 numbers. So I need another number there is 0. There we go. Okay. That is my answer. Now, on a calculator now, go ahead and tell the calculator, or type it in, 0.25 times 0.04. What do you get? You get 0.01, right? They don't stick these extra numbers behind that at all. The calculator just lops off whatever is not necessary. You don't need to put zeros, tons of those behind it. So the point is, when we see multiplication problems like this, you can compare things by just adding zeros and comparing exactly how many zeros or decimals one number has to another one. And let's do a couple of those right now. If you read these numbers out loud, how would you read A? I mean, you might say 0.3, but it's 3/10, right? Okay, the second one, let's do it that way. It's 30 hundredths. The third one is 300 thousandths, right? Well, 3 out of 10, in other words, 3/10, that's the same thing as 30 out of 100. And that's the same thing as 300 out of 1,000, right? So those are all the same number. You just have extra zeros at the end of it. If you were a calculator, this is what, if that were the answer, that's what it would come up with. Calculators don't put unnecessary zeros at the end. But they are helpful if you want to compare numbers, all right? So for an example, they might say, compare 0.3 to 0.303. Well, let's take a look. You go, wait a minute, 0.0, you can write it underneath it, 0.3, But you can say, okay, that's 303 thousandths. What's the equivalent of 3/10 to 300 in thousands? You would say that's 300 thousandths. Well, 303 thousandths is more than 300 thousandths. So this will be the operational sign that you use, or the inequality sign that you use. Okay, arrange these in least to greatest. 0.3. Oh man, what's going on here? Okay. Wait a minute, this must be bigger. It has more number. Oh, that has a 4 in it. Oh, yeah. Well, let's arrange them. 0.3, you don't have to write all the zeros. Just write 0.3, and the one with the most numbers behind digit is 3. These two have 3 behind them. So let's just copy that. 0.300, 0.042 is the second one. 0.24, but you'll add a 0, right? Because 24 hundredths is the same thing as 240 thousandths. And then 0.235 is 235. There we go. Okay, all we need to do at this point is look at the first digit behind the decimal and see that 300 thousandths is more than 42 thousandths, and that's more than 240 thousandths, and that's more than 235 thousand. So this is the one that is the biggest. The next one would be this one. The next one would be this one, and the very last one would be 42 thousandths. That's all you need to do. Okay, all right. Work on the practice set. Let's take a look. It's on page 235. We'll do one at a time, and pause it and try A. Okay, A would just be 0.05 That is the same. 500 ten thousandths is the same thing as 500. So okay, pause it and try B. All right, same thing, just 50. All right, pause it and try C. Got it? 1.25. Pause it and try D. Just 4. Okay, I'm sure you got that one. All right, give E a whirl. Pause it and try E. Okay. Now, you might have looked at this and gone, wait a minute, 0.2, that's less than 15. But, 0.2, in other words, 2 tenths. And we have, over here, we have 15 hundredths. Well, 2 tenths is the same thing as 20 hundredths. So 20 hundredths is more than 15 hundredths. If you can, train yourself to read these out. Don't just say 0.20 or 0.15. Say 20 hundredths or 2 tenths or 15 hundredths, things like that. All right, pause it and try F. Well, obviously that's greater. All right, pause it and try G. All right, that is less than 12. If you were to read this, this is read 12 thousandths, right? The other one is 12 hundredths, but if you want to make it into 3 decimals like this is, you put a 0 there. So this is 12 thousandths. This is 120 thousandths. This number here is 10 times what that number is. All right, pause it and try H. All right, that's going to be greater than. In other words, 0.31 and you have 0.039. Now 39 is bigger than 31, of course, but this number is 39 out of 1,000. This number is only out of 100, but if you add a 0 to make it the same as this, that is 310 out of 1,000, almost 10 times what 39 is. Okay, pause it and try I. I is equal, right? Same thing, right? 0.4 is the same thing as 0.40. 4 tenths is the same thing as 40 hundredths. All right, pause it and try the last one, J. All right. How's that? Least to greatest? Let's take a look at them. I'm just going to erase everything on the slide, just in case. So 0.12 is the first one. We got 0.125. Let's just line them up. 0.015 and 0.2. Well, let's get them all with 3 decimals. So 3 numbers behind the decimals. So there's 1 I'm adding there, there's 2 I'm adding there. Well, these are now all, these numbers are parts of 1,000, right? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Well, the most parts of 1,000, that's going to be 200. That's going to be the greatest. The least is this one here. Only 15 parts out of 1,000. This is 120 parts out of 1,000. This is 125 parts out of 1,000. You could have written them like this, or you could have written like that. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Okay. All right. Make sure you get that part and have a great day. Do a good job in the warm-ups today, too. You getting faster at those? I'm assuming you said yes. Okay. See you tomorrow.